If you've looked at any of the other videos that I've created about the Apryse WebViewer, you'll be aware that it has a huge amount of power. Now here it's running within the Apryse showcase, and you can see that we've got a PDF that we're viewing, but we could also add annotations or measure things or apply redactions or fill in forms or do many other things. In this video though, we're going to look at how you can use WebViewer without a viewer. And there's some really great reasons why we might want to do this. For example, we could choose a PDF and count all the pages in that PDF without ever actually displaying it. Alternatively, we could have a custom viewer, and in this case I'm using the document viewer that's built into WebViewer, but without all of the rest of the UI, and I'm showing a specific PDF within it. Or alternatively, we could take a DOCX file and we could convert that into a PDF using the Apryse SDK PDFNet library without ever actually displaying it to the user. There are two main ways that you can make the Apryse WebViewer accessible to your code. You can either integrate using npm and bring it down as a node module, or you can use manual integration and download webviewer.zip, which is what we're going to do here. I've created a new folder called Without Viewer, and I'm extracting the WebViewer files into it. Great, that's done. Now I'm going to navigate back into my Without Viewer folder, and I'm going to open that folder in VS Code. I've created a new file called index.html. I'm adding some code to this file, and we'll talk about how that works in just a moment. The important thing is it's creating a simple HTML page, and it's importing two scripts. The first script needs to specify the source to the WebViewer-core.min.js file, and the second one needs to specify the path to the PDFNet.js file. Those files were included in the zip that we've just extracted. If you're not going to be using any of the advanced PDFNet functionality, you can actually use the PDFNet.lean.js script instead. That's smaller and will start loading and running more quickly. However, in this example code, I'll stick with the full PDFNet, even though I don't really need it, because it makes the code more extendable. Next, we need to copy in a block of code, and I'll put a link to that code in the comments below this video. I've added a little more text to start with, and there's some list items which will help us to use it, as we saw in the demonstration at the start. I've also added a couple of divs, one with the ID of scroll view and the other with the ID of viewer, and we'll see that in just a moment too. Next, I'm specifying the worker path to lib/core, which allows PDFNet to know where the functionality is that it will be needing to use within this program. Next, I've created a main function, and in this, it takes any parameters from the URL, and it's using that to decide what to do with the URL parameters. If there's a parameter for count pages, then it's taking the following URL and is creating a PDF document from it. We're then getting the page count from that document and displaying it in an alert. In fact, if you're only interested in getting the page count, you can do that without using the full API. But using this mechanism gives us the option to extend our code to manipulate the PDF document we've created. We could add extra pages in, or move pages around, or rotate them. Next, if the parameters includes show, then it's taking the URL and creating a custom document viewer. In this case, it's using the document viewer that's actually built into WebViewer, but you could use an alternative viewer if you preferred. We need to specify the scroll view element and the viewer element, which we're using those divs with the IDs above. And then we just say document load, and we get to see our document. Finally, in this example, if the parameters includes the word convert, then I'm taking the URL, which I'm assuming is a DOCX file, and I'm running it through Office to PDF. This will return a PDF doc object, and just as before, I'm going to count the pages in this. But this time, I'm going to just log it to the console. I'm then taking that PDF doc object and downloading it. The last part of the code is I'm calling core.pdfnet.runWithCleanup, passing in the name of my function, main, and my license key. There are other ways you can initialize PDFNet, but we won't look at those here. Okay, that's it. So when the page loads, it will hit that core.pdfnet.run with cleanup, call our main function, and do what we've just seen. You could, of course, extend this code in many other ways and use all the other parts of the PDFNet functionality. For now, though, we have 3 distinct areas of functionality being shown, all within 75 lines of code. Awesome. So check out the documentation, get yourself a trial license, and see what you can achieve with the Apryse WebViewer. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.